everybody. My name's Amy Cothran. I am bringing you the uh, minutes, the review, or whatever you want to call it, summary of last night's city council meeting, uh, September 10th, 2024. Before the meeting, they had a budget hearing for about a half an hour. And so that just kind of laid out the budget for this next fiscal year and where we are. And then their first item after they approved the consent agenda was to adopt the budget statement that was presented at the budget hearing. And they did that, and they also um, uh, forewent the 3 hearings that they are supposed to approve it by. So it has been approved. It has been adopted. Um, so since they did that, their next order of business was since the budget was approved, there was an increase in it that had to be dealt with. So the fiscal year budget 2025 increased the budget lid limit. So there's a lid limit, and so it increased it by 1%. So right now the budget lid limit is 2.5%. So they had to increase that to 3.5%. So the budget would all align up with everything else that's already in place. Okay, the next order of business. Oh, and also the budget, back to the budget. It's $93.4 million of appropriations for this year. So that's how much that they are getting to spend this year. That's a lot of money for this little town. Um, so then, okay. The next one is they considered a resolution setting the levy for the city of Blair and Blair Airport, still all kind of budget stuff. So they're asking for $3.06 million in property tax. That's on $1.071 billion in property evaluation. What that ends up being is 0.277 for every $100 assessed value. So a little over a quarter. Um, and then and that's what they were getting previous. Now, so 2.277 is what the value was. Now, what they're asking is 0.286 per 100. That's in the new budget. That's what they're asking for. They said the operating budget has decreased by 9.45%, but the ask has increased by 3.27%. And since there's more houses, there's more businesses to help pay it. That helps to level out how much exactly each residence is required. Phil Green said it would be about a % increase in what they were asking for property tax. The airport tax rate is 0.028766 per 100, and they said that was an increase. They they approved the plan for a 1-year street improvement plan. I have discussed that in here before, and that was approved. They're doing a lot of overlays instead of pulling up the entire road and laying the stuff down, so a little bit of a different way to see how well it works and how long it lasts. And maybe it'll save us some money. Their number 9, the next item I discussed last week, and they did a first reading on it and approved it on the first reading. It is that overlay district that's going to allow possibly condos, and that's actually the next item, is wanting to put some condos there. Over there by 10th Street in Washington, south of the railroad. in that area. It's always kind of acted as a buffer between residents and industry, but they're wanting to do this overlay and possibly put some condos in there. And so it passed on its second reading. So there's still one more reading. So if you want to come talk about this, you need to come next board meeting, which will be not this coming Tuesday, but Tuesday after. There was so 10 was tabled since this was only a second reading and did not finalize. So we didn't talk about 10 at all. And that's going to be a cup for those condos. The fire chief was at Blair to talk about the revision of of the Constitution for and bylaws for the Blair Fire Department. And he discussed some things that had changed, the things that were adopted. And all I can tell you is 9.3. You'd have to go look it up in the bylaws if you want more information. 9.3, applications will be accepted year round all the time, whereas before they were accepted only twice a year. Also 11.9, there was an addition that if there's complaints, those complaints have to be in writing, it's signed and dated, given to the chief within 72 hours of whatever it is. Then it'll be investigated, and if necessary actions need to be taken, they will be taken, anywhere from a verbal reprimand to termination. And the last one was 14.6. If there's any pending court proceedings for a volunteer, they have 24 hours to notify the police chief or the fire chief, and they could be suspended. They'll take it one step at a time as it comes, and they could, be asked to turn all their stuff in, all their gear in that was issued to them. Then that was the end of the meeting. Then Green got up and spoke, Phil Green, and he said the Hollow Road ribbon cutting was a huge success, that there were a lot of people there. The state's going to continue to monitor the access. They want to see how many vehicles are going down it. And part of this monitoring is to see if we can't get a light on 13th to help with that intersection there now. Next meeting, they're going to talk about positions for staffing. There will be some change up in staffing, some reorganizations, maybe even some new staffing positions coming open. But anyway, that's going to be talked about next meeting. They are almost done with the police union contract, so that negotiation for for that pay arm is almost done. And then the splash pad should be done later on this year. He said November. So therefore, hopefully we can open it up next year. And that was your city council meeting. Thank you very much.